Action. No, let me stop. Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. Okay. So this video is going to be the financial peace series of my videos. I talked about this in my introduction. I talked about this in my randomness part 1 video, but this is going to be the series that I'm going to be introducing to everyone. Last week I went to orientation for the first time, well, for the beginning of a series, and yesterday, which was January 22nd, was the first class of Financial Peace University, also known as FPU, Financial Peace University. So I'm going to be using that acronym a lot, okay? So I don't have to keep saying Financial Peace University because that's just ridiculous. So anyway, you purchase a kit, which is $100. At my church, they sold it for $100. I think on the website with shipping, it comes out to $119. You can get it previously if your class does not offer it, depending on where you take it. You can find your classes at DaveRamsey.com, which is the man who, what did he do? He created this whole Financial Peace University, whole, money, practical money lessons that you can learn. Anyway, so yesterday was week 1 of the 13-week program that I am in at church. Sorry for the camera, the movement of the camera. I am trying to get a good angle here because last time my lighting was actually pretty bad on the video. Anyway, the first series is called, hopefully you guys can see that, it's called Super Savings. Okay. Common Sense for Your Dollars and Cents. That was the first series or first week. In this particular series, they talk about some of the baby steps. Now, I'm moving the camera again because I want to sit the book down. There are 7 baby steps that you can actually start initially before you start the class. I don't know. Sorry, I'm trying to get this BlackBerry and me recording. I can't wait to get a camera and a tripod and all that stuff. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, the 7 baby steps. So the 7 baby steps are, step 1 is $1,000 in an emergency fund. That's if you make over $20,000 a year. Anything under $20,000 a year, you would put $500 in your emergency savings. Baby step number 2 is paying off all debts except for the house, utilizing the debt snowball effect, which he'll teach in later lessons in this series, which we'll get to. I'm going to go step by step. I'm not going to jump ahead. I want to keep it on the same track as the program that I'm in the class with. Step 3 is then creating a 3 to 6 month expenses and savings. So that's basically setting aside 3 to 6 months of your expenses for savings. So basically, if that didn't make sense, let me explain it some more. So that's basically saying, how much would it take if you lost your job today for you to survive until you found another job 3 to 6 months from then? Because sometimes it takes you at least 3 months to find a new job when you lost a job, depending on your career of choice, your job of choice, your situation. It just depends on a lot of different factors. So how much would it take for you to survive for 3 to 6 months is what you need to set aside in savings, as well as your $1,000 emergency savings. Step number 4 is investing 15% of your household income in a Roth IRA and a pre-tax retirement plan. Step 5 is college funding. Step 6 is paying off your home early. And step 7 is building wealth and give. Okay? So basically his motto is, if you will live like no one else, later you can live like no one else. Wait a minute, what? If you will live like no one else, later you can live like no one else. Okay. It's kind of basically saying, if you live now how you want to live, then you can actually live now how no one else can live. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, if that's not what it means to you, then whatever. So this particular series is again called Super Savings, and I'm moving the camera again. Sorry. In this particular week's lesson, we did baby step number 1. Well, we talked about baby step number 1, and then we skipped to baby step number 3 because he's going to show, and I think that's next week's class. I think we're going to go to step number 2. I think. Don't quote me on that because I'm not quite sure. I have not went ahead because we actually had homework, which our homework was creating a quickie budget, a basic quickie budget. I don't know how this is looking right now. I'm sorry. I'm having to move this a lot because I'm trying to flip through the book and talk at the same time. So anyway, you can basically find the money to set aside the $1,000 if you're over $20,000 a year for your savings, or the $500 if you're under $20,000. I'm actually going to start now with my money. I just got paid, so I'm able to actually go through and sit down and actually start building my emergency savings. I want to quickly do that because he wants you to quickly do that within a month or two. Get that up first. That's the first thing he really wants you to focus on. He gave a lot of good examples of just ways that you can really save your money, and just gave you some examples of how we really waste money. I want to give this one. I'm going to show it to you. So wait a minute. So hopefully you guys can see that. Okay, so this chart that I'm showing you here is the daily decisions that can make a huge impact. So for you people who smoke, in the state of Virginia, our cigarettes are $5 or less. I know other states cigarettes are very expensive. I believe in New York they're like $9 a pack. I would not be smoking. I don't smoke personally, so this one does not apply to me, this particular one with cigarettes, but I know people who do smoke. So it's saying cost per day. So $3 if you smoke the pack a day. Ooh, Lord. For those people who will smoke a pack a day, it's saying that you would be spending $3 a day, and then a month that was $90 a month. If you invested that at a 12% rate, which you can find accounts with 12%, from ages 16 to ages 76, that's $11 million. Over a 70-year course, basically. That's $11 million. No, am I math right? Oh, 60 years. Lord, I cannot add Jesus. So that's probably why I'm in debt. That is a 60-year span, $11 million. From 16 to 76. And most people retire broke. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And then if you buy coffee for those people who go to Starbucks, you're spending $5 a day on a cup of coffee. That's $150 a month. That's $19 million for 60 years if you started drinking coffee at 16. I don't know who do that. But anyway, for those people who do, yeah. And then the last one, and I know a lot of people can relate to this, lunch. 5 days a week, spending at $8. That's $160 a month. That's $20 million that you have just spent to have lunch. And like he said, is it worth the cost in the long run? Look at that. Look at those numbers, you guys. And you have people, and I used to work for Medicare. So we used, the call center. So people would call, and I want y'all to see this. So I'm going to let this camera stay on this graph. People used to call Medicare crying on the phone about how they don't have money, how they only get their retirement, how they just can't afford it, how they only get one check from Social Security, their pension isn't enough, and all this stuff. You've worked all those years. And most people who are in their the baby boom stage right now, they started working early, and they've worked hard. The stuff that we do, like what I'm doing now in security, I'm sitting here. Those people worked their ass off, and to only get $900 or $1,000 a month here and there, that is nothing compared to the money that they've actually deserved and earned over their lifetime. And to come out and you don't have these kind of figures, when at the same time, if you would have saved this money, you could have been a multi-millionaire by doing regular work, by working and earning regular amounts of money. And people think the more money that you earn, the more secure your life is going to be. That is true to a certain degree if you're making this type of money. But if you're only making a certain amount of money, that's not always true, because the more money you make, of course, we know, the more problems you have. So I say all of that to say this. We, as American citizens and anybody else who can afford to save, we have to do better at saving. And I'm saying this to myself, me included. When I saw these numbers, I'm just like, what? Especially this one. This one here counts for me. This coffee and cigarettes. I don't drink coffee. I don't smoke cigarettes. So those numbers didn't impact me like this lunch numbers. And to look and to know that I could have made $20 million from 16 to 76. I mean, I'm only 25, but just think, from 16, I started working at 16. So from 16 to now 25 years old, the money that I've already invested, and that's if I just spend $8 a day. And I know my greedy butt ain't spending just no $8. Chick-fil-A, you spending $8 on one combo. So that's for people who know about Chick-fil-A. That's on the East Coast mostly. West Coast people don't really know about Chick-fil-A unless you travel to the East Coast and you've eaten there before. But anyway, this Dave Ramsey program is really about teaching you that you can save and have the money for the things that you need and want. And you can have the money for it, not credit for it, because credit is not your money. Credit is a ripoff. Having a FICO score can be a ripoff. For some things you will need it, but he's showing you that you don't need credit at the end of the day, because when you got that cash in your hand, people will let you get the things that you can get. And if they don't, then you go to the next person, because there's always going to be a person that will rather have the cash in their hand than for you to say, oh, I need to finance this, or oh, I need to do this, or oh, I need to do that. So if anything, let's just remember that we have to continue to save. Super saving. Common sense for your dollars and cents. All right? So stay tuned for next week. I'll see you guys next week. All right, so next week's video is going to be called Relating with Money, Nerds and Free Spirits Unite. So that's next week's topic of discussion, and that next Sunday is the 29th. So I'll be recording my video on the 30th and uploading it. So see you guys next week. Hopefully you can look into DaveRamsey.com to get some more of this information. He does give the baby steps online. That's free. But hopefully you can find a class and maybe the next one that starts. So if you want to go ahead and start now, I encourage everyone to take this class. Now, it is Bible-based, so he does mention scriptures, and this is not a Bible study. It's really a financial class, but he does mention scripture. So if you don't mind that, then this is a great program that you can take and get some really good advice. I'm so on board. I talked to my nephew today. He's on board with me. He's going to talk to his friend and see if he wants to join. And he's young, so and I was telling him, start young, because by the time it's time for you to retire, you can be a millionaire. You're trying to be a rapper, but you can be a millionaire and you ain't even got to be rapping. So, like I said, I'm encouraging everyone to definitely look into the Financial Peace University by Dave Ramsey, and his videos and DVDs are very funny. He keeps you involved, and he keeps you, laughing, and he tells you some really good advice. All right. See you next week. Bye.